I've been thinking about war and conflict lately, and I think that I've found the hidden support structure of practically every war fought by the human race. And here it is. It's certainty. Think about it. Pretty much every single war is started by some bunch of people that have convinced themselves that they're lock dead certain about something and that their enemies consequently need to die. See, most people think that war is fought for two basic reasons. It's either about ideological differences about government, economics, or religion, or it's about someone that's just trying to steal someone else's stuff, usually in the form of territorial expansion. But without certainty, neither of those two reasons is very compelling, definitely not enough to kill or die for. So it turns out that certainty, otherwise known as the I'm fucking right disease, is what justifies and enables pretty much all of the really violent, warlike behavior in the world. Certainty is not the solution to our problems, it is the problem. And personally, I think it's time for a completely new paradigm for the human race. So, I've decided to found a new anti-certain religion to help the evolutionary process along. I'm calling it the Church of Divine Uncertainty, or TCDU for short. TCDU, a new tetragrammaton for the 21st century. It's basically an agnostic church. Its religious doctrine is about admitting that none of us really has any actual definite answers to life's most important questions. You know, questions like, well, what's life about? Or where are we going? Or who's in control? The primary religious symbol of the Church of Divine Uncertainty isn't the cross or the Star of David or anything like that. It's the question mark. Its main religious text is a book of about 600 pages, all of them completely blank, with pretty gold edging on the side. It's called The Book of Unknowing, and it's a lot easier to memorize and quote from. Sermons in the Church of Divine Uncertainty consist of an hour of complete silence, which is actually way more inspiring. Hey, did you hear that sermon? Yeah, I really loved what that guy didn't say. Okay. At this point, you're probably thinking, well, gee, Eric, I'm intrigued. How do I join your new religion? Well, that's easy. To join the Church of Divine Uncertainty, you don't have to be saved by anyone. You don't have to adhere to any esoteric theological doctrine or assert the existence of any all-powerful deity. All you need to do is let go of your desperate, clingy need for certainty about things. All you have to do is admit that underneath it all, you and I don't have a single solitary clue about what's really going on in this universe, and that's perfectly okay. It doesn't mean your life is any less worth living, and it doesn't mean you're a bad person. And then bang, you're instantly a member of the church. There, wasn't that easy? Oh, and by the way, notice how this basic admission of ignorance sorts out a lot of nasty historical theological conundrums. Is there a God? Well, who the fuck knows? But what about sin? Is there a need for salvation or redemption? Who the fuck knows that either? But what happens when we die? Is there an ultimate guarantee of justice in the universe? Double who the fuck knows. But you gotta at least tell me, is there any point or purpose to life? Who the fuck knows squared? Notice how direct and honest it all is. Refreshing, isn't it? And the Church of Divine Uncertainty is also more profound. First, because it actually has a sense of humor about things, which is an obvious glaring weakness in pretty much every other world religion. The Church of Divine Uncertainty has realized that everything is basically one big cosmic joke, and that life is mostly about seeing if we can get it. Okay, an example. Let's see if we can get the great cosmic joke here for a second. Have you ever noticed that a lot of the time the greatest source of real wisdom in life comes from your cat or dog? You'll be sitting there all alone with your cat, and for no particular reason you'll blurt out, "Gee, Fluffy, why do I feel so empty inside?" And Fluffy stares at you and says, "Meow." Translation: When you find yourself empty in this world, you must first open a new can. Only then will you feed from the full bowl. Wow, pretty good advice. I need to open a new can. Thanks, Fluffy. See, that's just one example of the great cosmic joke. And the Church of Divine Uncertainty treats it as a theologically important phenomenon. But the Church is also more profound because it refuses to answer life's basic questions with guesses masquerading as knowledge. Instead, the Church of Divine Uncertainty answers those kinds of questions with more questions. It's a little bit like that 8-ball toy we had when we were kids. Is there a God? Could be. Is there justice? Maybe, maybe not. What happens when we die? Better ask again. Now, why does that seem so much more profound? Because when we answer life's basic questions with uncertainty and with more questions, we're responding in a way that's in harmony with how life actually is. After all, life doesn't particularly care about providing us with definite, stable answers to things, because life is always in the process of changing and transforming itself. Uncertainty is what life is really about. Ta-da! So, my main message here is that we can relax, everyone. We don't actually need to be certain about anything. Life is all just guesswork anyhow, whether we like it or not. And that includes religion, science, and government too. And we don't really need certainty as a basis for ethics or moral behavior either. All we need to do is realize that it's exactly the uncertainty and unpredictability and scariness of life that binds us all together. That's the true brotherhood of humanity, the brotherhood of human beings who, underneath it all, are just guessing as we go along and who are scared as hell. Once you realize that, then all you need to do is follow the basic sense of human decency that's already in your heart. That's it. That's all you gotta do. There. Now, wasn't that simple?